Hey guys, it's Dylan Stuff with JTech. Today we're going to talk about your basic fuel injection system. We're going to use this little demo box. Sorry it doesn't work. I'd love to show you how it actually functions, but we're just going to go over how it gets to where it gets to. This would actually represent your gas tank, this big 10-gallon tank. Obviously your gas tank's not going to have the fuel injectors going directly back into it. But you'll have your fuel pump or your fuel sender, which will be normally in the gas tank. Up on top of that, there's an electrical connector. There's actually on this one, it's got two electrical connectors, and it's got two hoses that come out. This system is a returnless system because it has only one hose going into our fuel rail. On a return style system, we would have another hose coming off the fuel rail to take the excess fuel back to the fuel tank. So pretty much it all starts in our gas tank. We will get power to our fuel pump. Once we get power to the fuel pump, it will pretty much cycle through. It will pressurize all the lines. It normally will go, like this one, will go from the fuel pump to a fuel filter. Then from the fuel filter, it will go all the way up to the car. Now normally your fuel filter is going to be way back near the fuel tank. Some vehicles it is under the hood, but normally it's back near the fuel tank. You're going to go up from the filter all the way up to the rail. Normally just before the rail you'll have what's called a fuel regulator. That's pretty much something that's vacuum or electronic controlled, that's between the filter and the rail. What that does, the regulator pretty much comes from the filter, and if it has to, it will lower the pressure of the fuel coming to. That way, if, say something happened with the pump and it overpressures, it can control it, knock it down, only feed the perfect amount to the rail. Once our fuel gets into our rail, it's pretty much straightforward. Taking a little tour, we got our pump, got our hoses, go to our filter. Filter goes up, here's our rail. This is our fuel rail. All this extra stuff has been added on for educational purposes. On your fuel rail, you'll have your injectors. This one would be for a 4-cylinder, so it's got 4 injectors, one for each cylinder. Pretty much what then would happen is each injector will get will have a power and a ground. And pretty much what this power and ground will do is it will tell the injector when to open and when to close. Normally it's very fast. It's very quick on the firing because you got to think how many RPMs this engine is spinning. So pretty much it just pressurizes the rail. Once it pressurizes the rail, the computer will send the signal to the injectors, tell them to open. When they open, with the rail already pressurized, when they open, that pressure is going to shoot the fuel down into the intake or directly into the cylinder. And it's just going to fire straight. Now on the electronic side of this, so you would get your power to your fuel pump. You would have your ignition, which will activate. Once you turn the key to the on position, your pump will prime. Pretty much all a prime is, let's set you back down. Pretty much all that's happening when you turn your key to the on position without starting the vehicle, it primes the system. That turns the fuel pump on for 10 to 15 seconds. Turns it on, let's make sure there's plenty of pressure in the system. That way when you turn that key over, you got fuel, it's already there, it's ready to go. So when you turn your ignition to on, the ECU will send the signal to the fuel pump, tell it to come on. It'll come on, it'll go off. Actually, I'm sorry, it doesn't send it directly to the fuel pump, it sends it to the fuel pump relay. The relay then sends the signal, gets the signal, which activates the relay. Activates that, sends power to the fuel pump for X amount of time. And then the computer will tell the relay to go off. It'll shut off, fuel pump won't come on until you turn that key to full run position. When it starts to run, you'll turn it over, fire up, fuel pump will be on, and it runs from there. There are different types of fuel pumps. You have the ones that are not different types of fuel pumps, but different types of cycles that the pump will go through. Say for instance, when you're in idle, the fuel pump may be at a low setting to where it's only gonna, gently keep pressure and just run it through. And then say you're idle and you punch it, you go wide open throttle. Fuel pump's going to go to full max, most as possible pressure, and get as much fuel up to the rail. That way we've got all the fuel we need here at the rail to get into the cylinders to get you burning tires and running the road. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's nothing too crazy about a fuel pump system, or fuel injection system, sorry. You got your pump, which gets the signal from the relay, which gets that from the ECU, when to come on, when to go off. It'll feed the fuel out of the tank, up to the fuel filter, around to the regulator, which is not on this demo box. Around to the regulator, feed it straight through, go into our fuel rail, pressurize it, gets pressure to all the injectors. When the injectors get the signal, they open, they shoot fuel in, they close. And that's pretty much it on your basic fuel injection system. Thanks.